of the Tiger. By far, my personal favorite Rocky film of the series, other than the original. And I'll tell you why. Rocky 3 was written and directed by Sylvester Stallone and came out in 1982. Again, following the success of the original Rocky and Rocky 2, of course. Rocky 3 takes place shortly after the events of Rocky 2. Rocky is now the heavyweight champion of the world. So he's gone from living in poverty in Philadelphia to basically becoming a millionaire overnight. So what I like about the previous Rocky movies too is it always shows in the very beginning sort of a review of what happened in the past Rocky movie, but done in a really good way with the music, etc., etc. And then it leads right into Rocky 3. What happens after he's just won the championship of the world, what it's like for him. And then comes in the song, one of the best songs of all time as far as I'm concerned, performed by Survivor, The Eye of the Tiger. This song has stood the test of time, but I'll get into that a little later. So you see a montage basically of what it's like for Rocky now that he's won the championship, how his life is, and you're seeing he's meeting with literally the President of the United States. He's on the Muppet Show. He's on the front of every magazine now. He's cleaned up quite a bit. He's well dressed. He's trimmed down a bit. And but you also see a new character develop here in one of my favorite Rocky, I say, villains of all time, Clubber Lang, portrayed by Mr. T. Now this is Mr. T when he was in fantastic ripped shape. Like, he is solid here, and he is menacing. As Mickey would later say in the movie, he's a wrecking machine, and he truly is. So as you see Rocky enjoying the fame and the life coming after winning a championship belt, you're also seeing him defend his title numerous times around the world, and he's still coming out the champion. But at the same time, you're seeing the rise of the number one contender, Clubber Lang. And Clubber's nothing like Rocky. He doesn't have a heart. He is as mean as it gets, and he is a wrecking machine. He not only beats his opponents, he destroys them in the ring. And Mickey sort of sees a preview of this and is a little concerned. So as we go through the movie, it's a very well-paced movie. Lots of different fight scenes in the movie. There's a cool scene where it's for charity between the wrestling champion of the world and the boxing champion. The wrestling champion is Thunder Lips, but he's portrayed by legendary Hulk Hogan. So it's a pretty fun scene to watch those two mix it up, wrestling versus boxing, and etc., all for the name of charity. At the same time, you're seeing Clubber Lang, trying to plot a way to get Rocky in the ring. There's a really cool moment where they unveil a statue for Rocky. The mayor of Philadelphia unveils it. And the statue today is actually in Philadelphia. You can go see it. It's near the Rocky Steps. It used to be on top of the Rocky Steps, but it's since being moved now. But it's close to the Rocky Steps. So they unveil the statue of Rocky Balboa in tribute to his contributions to charity, his contributions to the sport of boxing, and being Philadelphia's favorite son, essentially. And that's where we first come into the conflict of Clubber Lang and Rocky. Clubber Lang's there watching this, and he confronts Rocky in a brutal way. Mickey quickly says, no, he's not going to fight you. But Clubber finds another way to lure Rocky in the ring. And it's quite inventive, I'll say that much. So Rocky's angered by this and wants to fight him. And Mickey basically tells him, essentially, look, this guy's a wrecking machine. He'll knock you down with a matter of a few rounds. And Rocky's just stunned by that. He's wondering, well, what do you mean I'm the champion of the world? Mickey warns him and says, look, you need to retire and don't do this. And Rocky says, no, I'm going to do it one last time. So you see the training montage in this movie, and it also is a life lesson because it shows what happens when you let fame go to your head. And this truly happens to Rocky in this movie. Instead of training like he did in the previous Rocky movies, training hardcore, taking it seriously, it's more of a show for the media, and he's making a spectacle of himself, and even Adrian's embarrassed by it. Meanwhile, you see Clubber Lang in some underground gym, dripping water from pipes and literally doing these chin-ups, and he's taking it seriously. He means business. So we get to the halfway point in the movie where the big fight's going to happen, and Rocky's still pretty confident he's going to win, and Mickey, but something happens before the fight to a major character. Health-wise, something happens, and it really kind of knocks Rocky down confidence-wise. At the same time, he's minutes from stepping in the ring with Clubber Lang. Let's discuss that fight. That fight was brutal. In the beginning, Rocky comes out with some punches, but Clubber Lang just starts beating and destroying Rocky in the ring in front of the whole world. And this is for the championship of the world. This is Rocky's supposedly last fight. What I will say is Clubber Lang comes out the victor. But he doesn't just come out the victor. He destroys Rocky physically and psychologically. And I'll get into that. There's a scene after the fact. You just basically see Rocky. He still has his money. He's able to take care of his family. But mentally, he's just destroyed. He's visiting his old stomping ground in Philadelphia where he was from. And you just see that his morale is completely gone. In steps an unlikely hero and an unlikely friendship, which will end up spawning on throughout the Rocky series. His former opponent, Apollo Creed, is the one that comes in and basically takes Rocky out of the gutters. And this is where they develop a friendship that'll not only stand the test of time throughout the movies, but a friendship that will carry on to the Creed spin-off movies, and it's very important. This movie is especially important if you watch the Creed movies, because there's a lot of reference to this particular movie, and there's a reason why. So Apollo Creed's now training Rocky, and it's cool to see. Apollo Creed's got a different style, and I like it. It's really, really cool. But again, psychologically, Rocky's beaten down. And another major character is the one, unlikely enough, to come along and inspire Rocky to either fight or give it up, basically, and essentially say, you have to make this decision, you have to live with it the rest of your life, but if you're going to do it, don't do it for the money, don't do it for the fans, do it for you. And that inspires Rocky, and then the training montage that follows is just fantastic. The fight, I got to be careful, I don't want to spoil it, but it's my favorite fight of the Rocky movies. I will be honest, it's my favorite fight in all the Rocky movies. You see a different Rocky. His confidence is back up, and Clubber Lang you still think has the upper hand. And the fight, the punches that are delivered in this movie are just violent punches. They mean business. These two guys want this title. There's nobody opting out. These guys want it no matter what. And the fight's quite intense. Clubber Lang definitely has the upper hand, but there's a unpredictable, what I would say, if you see for the first time, an unpredictable turn in the fight. I mean, it's predictable now because I've seen the movie like 1,000 times because I love it. But when you first see it, you assume Rocky's going to lose, basically. But I will say that the fight was intense, and it came to the ending. There's a really cool epilogue in the movie between Rocky and Apollo, because Apollo said, "You owe me a favor if I help you train," and Rocky repays that favor at the very end of this movie. So let me just get into the characters. They're fantastic. Sylvester Stallone is probably in one of the best shapes of his life for this movie as Rocky Balboa. We see a different side of Rocky. He's got fame, but he's still got the same Rocky heart there. Adrian's great. She's motivational in this movie. Talia Shire does a bang-up job as Adrian. Burt Young steals the show a little bit in this movie, reprising his role as Paulie. You see that he's sort of left in the dust after Rocky got famous, and what happens from that. Mickey, this is Mickey's movie too, played by Burgess Meredith. Major turning point for this character in the movie, obviously, but you see the impact of Mickey on Rocky's life in this movie more than the other two movies, as a matter of fact. He definitely is the father figure that Rocky never had in this movie. Carl Weathers is Apollo Creed. You see a totally different Apollo Creed. The Apollo Creed we're used to hated Rocky Balboa in the second movie, I would say. Didn't hate him in the first one per se, but this one there's a friendship, and this friendship really, it's a genuine friendship, and it develops throughout the movie, and it'll spawn into the next movie, and then of course that friendship is spoken about in the Creed spin-off movies. So again, very good acting. Mr. T, Clubber Lang, man oh man, he was scary. To this minute I can see this movie like 100 times, and he still scares the living daylights out of me when I see him in the ring. He's definitely the opponent that I think Rocky really met his match on in the Rocky series. We'll talk more about the opponent Rocky 4 after, but definitely Clubber Lang is one of my favorite opponents. Matter of fact, I think if we look up here, you can see my collectible Rocky figures. There's Clubber Lang staring down Rocky Balboa in the ring. Again, love the movie, love the song "Eye of the Tiger." What a great song! I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. Um, Out of a scale of 1 to 10, I give Rocky 3 a 10 out of 10. There isn't anything I don't like about Rocky. That's why I haven't spoken about any cons. I love the entire movie from beginning to finish. And I'll even watch the credits because, of course, they'll play the "Eye of the Tiger" song in that credit scene as well. But boy, oh boy, what a great movie! Fantastic. Highly recommend it. Again, see the Rocky movies in order if you've seen it for the first time. But Rocky 3 is definitely I would say one of the more entertaining ones when it comes to action and fight scenes, etc. Highly recommend it. Yeah, check it out. Take care. Bye.